Hey everyone, so today we're going to be doing a little bit of an end of summer DAC Roundup of two fresh new offerings from two different companies. We're going to be talking about what we all sit around during the fall in our sweaters. We all sit around a FiiO QX13 and a Campfire. So yeah, we're going to be talking about the FiiO QX13 DAC amp alongside the Campfire Audio Relay. These are two fresh DACs that have just come out as of the past couple of months, and I think they both have this very interesting sound to them. So let's jump into it. So the QX13 is a portable DAC amp that kind of pushes the dongle design toward desktop level performance. So the FiiO QX13, it comes in two colors. It comes in the carbon fiber, which is the more light, modern looking one. And then it also comes in the titanium alloy, which is kind of the heavier, more rugged, more textured, flashy design. And the first impression was it doesn't really feel like a dongle. It feels like a serious piece of audio gear. The QX13 has an optional case that you can put on. It also has an LED screen with a screen protector and a silicone dust plug. The case snaps neatly onto a phone for a neat stack, so it's perfect for practical on-the-go use. You do get a short, sturdy cable that feels like it's meant for cell phones. And the design and overall build, it feels really premium with a construction with carbon weave or titanium shells. It's compact, but it feels weighty. And there's this new large color display that they tried out with the BTR17, and it shows the sample rate, the playback mode, and the volume pretty clearly. When you hit the volume knobs on the bottom, there's a nice little wheel that comes up as the number goes up, as the decibels increase, and it's kind of nice to see that happen. It's nice to have a visual gauge of what level you're playing it at. With some of these dongle DACs, you just kind of crank it as much until you feel like it sounds like what you usually want to hear, and it's nice to have sort of a set number, so per device basis, you could be like, oh, I like listening to this one on 65, and I like listening to this one on 70. It's cool to have a little screen, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing how the FiiO's mobile DAC amps progress in the future with this. We could maybe one day get a dongle DAC with a touchscreen from them, which would be really cool and pretty nuts, getting us closer to that DACs ending up being DAPs renaissance that we may see in the future. So in this possible touchscreen renaissance, I would really love for them to keep these clicky buttons that they have. They're just really satisfying to click. They feel very tactile, and they don't feel mushy, which is not what you want from any sort of responsive thing that you're doing. And they're very fun to use. Something about you just cranking it up at that good point in a song, and it's going click, 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 click. It's just something about it. It's just, it revs you up, it gets you going. I love me some good feeling buttons. In terms of under the hood, it runs on an ESS Sabre Pro DAC using 8 channels in parallel for clean, detailed sound. And there are some op amps in here that deliver stable current and some low distortion. And the processor it's packing supports PCM up to 668 kilohertz at 32-bit, DSD512, and MQA. There's a 10-band parametric EQ for detailed tuning via the app or the web interface. And there's smart desktop mode, which kicks in whenever plugged into AC power, boosting output automatically. It's got a 900 megawatt balanced output in desktop mode, which is enough to run most full-sized headphones and IEMs, delivering pretty strong power without any background hiss. And the heat management is pretty solid. It doesn't really warm up too much, which is nice because it's meant for on-the-go use. You don't want a hot rock in your pocket. Nobody does, I don't, you don't, so it's good to see that the QX13 doesn't overheat. Thank goodness. You want little hot hand warmers in your pocket. You don't want a hot DAC amp in your pocket, I will tell you that. Overall, the QX13 was very neutral and transparent, nothing overly hyped or overly colored, and it's able to reel in a lot of the more aggressive frequencies in the more fun first tuned IEMs. I talked about the QX13 a little bit in my Campfire Audio Grand Luna review, which you should check out, link in description. And I mentioned how it was able to kind of reel in that more boomy, aggressive low end that the Grand Luna has. And it kind of made me appreciate the Grand Luna's overall dark texture a little bit more. So I'm definitely pleased by the QX13's more wrangling aspect of the frequencies. So if you're looking for something to subdue a more kooky, fun IEM or headphone, I think the QX13 would be a really good match. And the soundstage, like most DAC amps, definitely widens, and it's much more than I expected, especially out of a dongle. It layers instruments with good separation, and I'm able to pick out clearly where things are coming from, and it's a very enjoyable, immersive sound. And I paired it with the new FT7 planar over ears, which I'm also covering on this channel, and that soundstage and that brand synergy of the FiiO is certainly something to look into if you're down for a more warm, neutral sounding tuning. And the EQ options on the QX13 are a breeze, so you can kind of tailor these more neutral sounding headphones to how you prefer. And for everyday use, it's great for plug and play with phones or for laptops. So if you're a kind of on the go person, or you have to, bring your laptop to work and work on it, it's really great for just kind of plug and play. Same with phones. Though it's not a Bluetooth capable DAC amp, it's still really worth to use with a cell phone, especially because of that magnetic aspect with the case. It keeps things protected, and you're able to easily stack it and store it in a bag or your back pocket or your front pocket. I'm not judging. And this feels like a rare balance between true portability and desktop power. The desktop mode switch certainly adds more of that flair and more of that appeal to someone who wants to have something just sitting on their desk and able to bring with them if they want. The only thing that's kind of bringing this back from truly being a portable option is the lack of Bluetooth, but they have you covered with things like the BTR17 already, so it's nice to have something this powerful and this refined, able to use for on-the-go use nonetheless. The QX13 is compact, it's desktop class, and it's got a great build, and also comes with kind of that FiiO refinement and muscle that some DAC amps lack, but FiiO has been just pumping out iteration after iteration and improvement after improvement, that it all kind of feels like it's compiling here in... I dropped my mouse. It all feels like it's compiling here into something truly special and worthwhile for their usual minimal price point. So now that we're done with the FiiO, let's sit around the Campfire Audio Relay for a little bit, and let's get into this. This feels like Campfire Audio's usual trend towards musical fun first tuning, now translated into a fun, compact DAC amp portable package for someone looking to insert a more bass forward, fun, and expansive tonality to their headphones. The Campfire Audio Relay feels like it's meant to breathe new life into your fun first, more musicality driven headphones that may have gotten boring over time. I really think that the Audio Relay is meant to infuse new life into headphones. It feels like that's its strongest power as a portable dongle DAC. In the box, you get the Campfire Audio Relay unit itself, a USB-C to USB-C cable, along with a accessory bag and microfiber cleaning cloth. It's pretty minimalist, and it's just the essentials, which is also what I saw when I reviewed the Campfire Luna. Campfire just doesn't mess around with fluff. It's just serious, high-quality stuff that they put in their packaging for you to utilize at your own will if you want to. It's got a CNC machined aluminum body with angled edges and a glass panel that showcases the DAC chip. I love designs like this in tech. It reminds me of that kind of GameCube era where everything was kind of that transparent look where you could peek in at all the circuitry. There's just something about that that's appealing. I like to look under the hood when I'm using a magical instrument that's making my music sound better. I think it's cool to see a little tiny square capable of that power. It's very appealing in design, and I think it was a good choice overall. There's dual headphone outputs. There's the 3.5 and the 4.4 balanced, as well as the USB-C. And the USB-C plug and play supports PCM up to 768 Hz and DSD playback. It features 6 selectable digital filter modes, high low gain settings, and a 60-step volume control. And back with those buttons, baby, they kind of feel clickier than the FiiO QX13. I loved hitting these buttons. They're so fun, and you just need good tactile buttons when using any audio device. It just really adds to that immersion. It really adds to that active listening experience that we so crave desperately in our hobby. In terms of sound, it certainly makes it more of a spacious, and certainly makes whatever you're plugging into it more spacious with a little more separation, providing a more defined soundstage. And it's all about that bass, man. Like, the Campfire Grand Luna was dark and it was thumpy, and the Audio Relay is no different. It adds a very rich low end to pretty much anything you plug into it. And that is a very appealing thing for some, but it might be kind of a deterrent for others. It feels like one of those DAC amps that you pull out to just have a fun day with, to dive into, to refresh your music library. And I think that Campfire Audio is really selling itself on this low-end texture. Their past two offerings that I've checked out have just been so rich in the low end and very active and fun in the low end that it's kind of becoming the Campfire brand almost in my brain. Vocals and instruments are presented in a lifelike fashion with lots of air, and the treble is detailed and sparkled without being harsh. The sound signature of the Audio Relay feels refined, balanced, transparent, and it preserves the character of the headphone while also giving it this kind of low-end textured flair that I really, really appreciate. Though it can be a little bit much when already paired with a more bass-forward IEM or headphone such as the Grand Luna. But it could also be great if you're really into that dark bass-forward tonality. It could be just a true synergy machine with any of your more fun, punchy headphones that you've got lying around, ready to break out again, ready to breathe new life into them. I think the Campfire Audio Relay has you covered. It's got simple controls, it's got responsive volume adjustment, and it's got a no-frills design philosophy. Also an emphasis on straightforward, clean operation without crazy additional features. It's very much a plug-and-play, no-frills device. It doesn't have Bluetooth along with the QX13, so it's only suited for wired listening, focusing on just getting the most out of the sound quality, making it as fun as possible, opting out of wireless convenience. But that's okay. Not everything needs to be Bluetooth, because we all know that someday it will all be Bluetooth, so enjoy the wires while it lasts. So those are two hot new DAC amps. Let me know what kind of music you're going to be spinning in the fall season with these DAC amps. And do you prefer a more neutral and natural tuning, or do you prefer a more fun first, kind of energizing DAC amp? And as always, it's been Isaac from Audio 46. Be sure to like and subscribe for all things headphones and DAC amps. And remember to take care and keep listening.